If you don't take control of your future, someone else will. And that future won't be built for you. It'll be built on you. That's not dramatic. That's reality. You might be 35 or 65. You may feel like time's passed you by. Or maybe you're wondering if this world even allows someone like you to start something of your own. Let me say this very clearly. It is never too late to become an entrepreneur. Not if you're 55, not if you're 70. In fact, you might be more ready now than ever before. So let me ask you, where are you listening from right now? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what country you're in, what stage of life you're in. And if you believe even for a moment that you're meant for something more, like and subscribe to this channel, because this isn't just a video. This is a mission, yours and mine. I want you to hear this. You were not made to retire with regret. You were not made to sit on ideas you had 20 years ago and never gave life to. And you absolutely were not meant to work a job for 40 years that doesn't give your life meaning. Entrepreneurship is not about money. It's about ownership of your time, your energy, your values, your future. I've seen people in their 60s build better companies than people in their 30s. Why? Because wisdom is leverage. Because clarity is a superpower. Because when you stop caring what people think, you finally start becoming you. Now here's the truth. No one wants to tell you. Starting a business is not about having the perfect idea. It's about having the discipline to follow through on an imperfect one. You don't need an invention. You don't need to be a tech wizard. You don't need to be young, famous, or have investors knocking on your door. You need only one thing, a reason strong enough to get you up earlier than most and stay focused longer than most. So let me ask you, what is your reason? What do you hate about the life you're stuck in? What would change if you owned your time? Write it down. That's your ignition point. Every successful entrepreneur, started exactly where you are now. They weren't special. They weren't smarter. They just decided, take Colonel Sanders, 65 years old, no job, no money, built a franchise from a chicken recipe. Everyone thought he was done. He wasn't. Or Vera Wang started her design business at 40 after failing to become an Olympic figure skater. What changed everything for them? They refused to end their story at a comma. And so you don't need a fancy business plan to begin. You need clarity on three things. 1, what problem can I solve that people care about? 2, what skills do I already have that I'm underusing? 3, who is already doing what I want to do, and what can I learn from them? You don't need to build a spaceship. Believe me, I would know. You just need to build a solution that matters to someone, even just one person. Start small, local, niche, one customer, one service, one solved problem. That's how it begins. Now, there's one mistake that almost every first-time entrepreneur makes, and it destroys more dreams than lack of money ever will. I'll tell you what it is, but not yet. Not until you're ready to face it. Not until you can look in the mirror and say, I'm done letting fear drive the car. Are you ready for that? Because that mistake is something we're going to correct together. And while we're on this journey together, I want to remind you of one more truth. You don't have to do this alone. Every breath you take is permission to begin again. And if you believe in God like I do, then pray for wisdom, not ease. Because ease never made a great entrepreneur, but purpose does. And when you align with a higher purpose, doors begin to open, not all at once, but one faithful step at a time. Drop in the comments, what do you want your future to look like in 5 years? Like this video if you felt even 1% more alive listening to it. And subscribe, because I'm going to show you the most powerful mindset shift that separates entrepreneurs from employees. And it will change the way you look at every decision you make. See, the real challenge isn't building the business. It's overcoming the belief that you don't have what it takes to start one. And that belief, it's not coming from you. It's been installed in you by education systems that teach obedience over innovation, by families who loved you but taught you to play it safe, by workplaces that trained you to follow instructions, not to create value. You were programmed to stay small. So before you can even write down your business idea, you've already been infected with hesitation. But here's something most people never hear at the start of their journey. Your fear of starting is not weakness. It's your intelligence misfiring. Let me explain. You've been trained to calculate risk like this. What if I lose everything? What if I fail in front of everyone I know? What if I waste years chasing something that doesn't work? That sounds smart, cautious, even responsible. But have you ever flipped the equation? What if you don't try? What if the next 10 years go by and you're still stuck in a job you resent? What if your kids grow up watching you trade every hour for someone else's dream? What if regret becomes your retirement plan? That risk is guaranteed. Failure is a maybe. Regret is a certainty if you don't act. You see what I mean? You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen failing. And that fear is about ego, not outcomes. Let me make this as practical as possible. If you have an idea, anything, a product, a service, a skill, something you know people need, here's the first thing you do. Get your idea in front of one person who's willing to be honest. Don't build a website. Don't form an LLC. Don't buy a logo. Don't spend a single dollar. Just say, hey, I've got this idea. Would you pay for it? Because the truth is, entrepreneurship doesn't start when you launch. It starts when you're brave enough to ask the market, is this valuable to you? You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to find one real problem and offer one real solution. Everything else, marketing, systems, growth, that comes later. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. Almost no one will believe in you at the beginning. But that's the tax you pay for thinking differently. If people don't laugh at your vision in the beginning, it's probably not bold enough. And if everyone agrees with your plan, it's probably too familiar to change anything. So, yes, start with doubt, start with fear, start when no one claps for you, because when you do, you begin separating yourself